Alright guys, what's up? I'm Swinky Games, and today I kind of wanted to discuss a particular move that I feel has slipped under a lot of Hwoarang players' radars. I don't really see a lot of Hwoarang players even use this move, and the few that do or have used it either don't have a proper follow-up or don't have a consistent follow-up. That's not all of them. It's just, from what I can tell, it is most Hwoarang players. I do feel like it's too good of a move to ignore completely, but I do understand compared to like back 3, for example. And the move I am talking about is back 4 on counter hits specifically. And like I said, a lot of Hwoarang players don't use this move, and the ones that do don't even have proper follow-ups or consistent follow-up. And that even includes the people at my rank. I'm a Tekken Emperor, and even 20 minutes ago, I was fighting I want to say it was a Tekken God Supreme, and they threw this move out 2 times. The first time I blocked it, that one's like whatever, but then the second time they actually did get me on a counter hit. But by the time they had realized they had hit, this was pretty much all they could get. You know, kind of made things a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to show you guys a few examples of what you guys can do to help mitigate some of these problems, and try to make things a little bit more consistent and try to get a little bit more damage. I am going to be doing an easy version and a medium version and a hard version. All are very consistent except for the last version. There's a couple points that can be a little bit tricky, but with a little bit of practice, it's still fairly consistent. Can get you some pretty ridiculous damage. If that max combo damage right there ain't telling you anything. And we'll get to that pretty soon. So if this ends up helping you guys out, or you guys end up enjoying it, please consider liking and subscribing. The more that you do, the more it helps me out, and the more that you help me out, the more I'll be able to help you guys out. Also, I might ramble a little bit, and I'm not planning on doing very much in terms of editing or cuts. So if I mess up a few extra times, I do apologize. I just kind of wanted to get this out real quick while it was fresh in my mind. So I apologize in advance. So let's kind of just get into it. So what is back 4? What is the significance? Well, it's a 13 frame high counter hit launch. It doesn't have great range. It has about starting distance is about your tip. Even just a small little holding the back button, and I'm already out of range. So this is about tip range right here. And then it's -10 on block, which is kind of meh for a high. But at 13 frames, unless you're abusing it, most people don't punish it. So it's just kind of one of those things you got to be careful with. But if you do manage to hit on counter, you got to know what your options are. So the easy version, I've noticed, is going to be 3, 4, 2, 3. Now you'll notice he was a little sideways. That's just because I did it a little late. If you do it right away, it'll be less sideways. But if you, the reason I like this version specifically is because even if you are a little late, he'll be more sideways, but you can even get the ender that I like to do very consistently, which is 4, 3, 4 tilde 3. So the whole thing ends up looking like this. Like that gets you about 64. It gets you 65 if you do the just frame version. Let me see if I can get it. There it is. Either way, it's 65 if you get the Sparks version. I'm not going to keep trying to do it right now. Sometimes I'll get it, sometimes I won't. But it's very consistent, even if they're a little on the sideways side. Lands almost every single time. There is one instance where it can miss. So after the back 4, if you wait a little too long, the second 4 will miss, so the 3-4 part, that last part can miss. So you just got to be a little careful. But otherwise, as long as you get make a decent amount of time, the rest of this is fairly consistent. So, and then if you guys like to, if that's still a little bit tricky, you can always just do 3-4 up 4. Very, very nice, and it leaves you in right foot forward if you like to do a backlash ender. So it would look like this. You can kind of go from there, however you want to end it. If you do the up back 3, it's 64, same as before. So, you know, works. And that's the main thing, is that it gets you at least a little bit of damage, and it's consistent. So then a heat version, either which way, you do backlash, go into heat, and then pretty much any heat ender will do it, and get you that 77. So after heat, you know, I get that backlash ender, so even after this version, you can still do that, and then motion switch into 4-3, 4-3, and then you know, heat burst into whatever your ender is. I like to do running 3, get you that mid 70s, which is very nice. But whatever you do should still do a pretty sizable chunk. So very, very nice. And then last version is going to be the rage version. Pretty much the same thing. You just do your backlash. Oh, my bad. And that's it. And then you get, you know, I think it's like 79. So it's still pretty decent, all things considered. You know, I can show you guys other, you know, more examples as we move forward. But that's like the easy version. That's like the super easy version. That's like, you know, aside from the backlash after the 2-3, the rest of it should be fairly simple, fairly easy. It might just take a little bit of practice to get used to. But the intermediate version, it's probably the version I do the most. It's very consistent. I have to almost try to drop it. It looks like this. And there's really only one instance I've ever seen where I drop it. And it's after this up 4-4. There's a part where you can kind of almost delay it a little bit. I don't know how to, like that, like it's a little slower. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Like that. There's like a slight delay if you hit the last 4 a little late. But aside from that, the rest of it, like as long as you basically just mash the 4 button, it's very consistent. So I never really have an issue with this. And then there's a couple different enders, and the fact that there's more than one ender is why I like it so much. So you can just kind of end it, you know, like that, get 78, 79 damage, which is really nice. And it's very, very consistent. And then there's also the Hunting Hawk version, which I like. Gets you 78 as well. And that's very consistent. That's actually the version I do specifically. It's very, very nice. And there's a lot you can get out of that, whether you're using heat or rage. For example, there's a heat version. Gets you that, you know, 91, which is very, very nice. And didn't really take anything extra. And then all that one was after the, you know. So I should probably dissect that one a little bit. So after the forward 4 up 4-4, you don't, your first instinct is going to be to want to try to do a dash. You don't want to do that because it'll take too long. If you dash in to do it, you'll miss. You just want to do forward 3 plus 4 into backlash. So it looks like this. And honestly, you have to be kind of quick with that. If you're slow, it'll still miss. So if you try to do it comfortably, it still misses. So you got to be very, very careful. And then from there, you know, you can do, you know, your heat engager into heat burst, or, you know, whatever you want to do, or rage in this case. Oh, my bad. Like that. And it gets you that 97, which is very, very nice. Yeah, give or take a couple points. And then, like I said, this can get you some of the ridiculous damage that I was mentioning before. $108 damage, and it really didn't take a whole lot. You know, something to try. And then this last version, this is the most inconsistent. It's interesting because when I try to mess it up, when I was trying to mess it up, I actually found myself getting the combo more. And then when I was trying to not mess it up was when I was messing it up. So if I have to do this a few extra times, I do apologize. But this is what the whole thing will look like, or at least, you know, up to the tornado. Like that. Now, that's the part where it can be inconsistent. So sometimes you'll do the flying eagle, and one of the attacks will actually miss. So then you'll go to do the back 3, and the combo will drop. And then, like the first time, he was backwards for whatever reason. So it's kind of one of those things where you got to kind of pay attention to what's going on with the opponent's body. Oh, my bad. Holy crap. And, you know, so like that follow-up would be harder because their feet are facing the other way. But then, oh, my bad. But then, if they don't go the other way, even if they do, you guys saw, I can still land the backlash and all that, but with them being backwards, doing that forward 3, heat engager would probably be more difficult as well. If I'm not like right up on their, you know, face, I guess. But as far as a ender is concerned, that 4-3 and a 4-3 that we were doing before still works. So, like so, gets you 82, 83 damage. Is very, very nice. But then, as you guys saw with the heat version, I got about 95, which is very, very nice. It's 94 without the blue sparks, but with it, it's 95, which is very, very nice. And then if you add rage, this is where I love this part. Like, it's almost worth at least attempting this in like quick matches, even if it drops. If I happen to get it, the damage you can get off of this if it works out is very, very nice. So Nope, not bad. What was it? So that's like, you know, head, you know, feet away, unfortunately. So I still get, you know, high 90s. So it's like, I'll take it. And then, oh, my bad. And you can get, you know, I think that one's like 105. So very, very nice. And then my favorite version of this, I'm gonna do this in case I mess up too much, is this is where you get that ridiculous amount of damage. You get that 113 that you guys are seeing at the bottom of the screen. And it's just like, to be able to get this is off of the back four that nobody uses is very, very nice. It almost justifies the fact that it's minus 10 because of how much damage you can get if things work out. So it's like, and even without that, like I said, this is still very consistent. My bad. He says as he drops the combo. Still very consistent, and I still get, I think it was 108, which is still very good. And now this version is a lot more consistent, so it's worth it in my opinion. But that's pretty much all this was about. Just showing you guys a few examples of what you can do with back four. I apologize again if I rambled a little bit too much, but I kind of wanted to kind of express the things you can do with it. So don't be afraid to experiment. Let me know what you guys get out of it. Practice a few things. Maybe you guys can show me a couple things. Who knows? You know, if you guys want to take a few sessions in my Discord to discuss options or just want some GGs or whatever, consider joining me on my Discord. I'll be putting the link in the description down below. You know, we got people trying to learn, mostly Hwoarang players, because, you know, I'm a Hwoarang player. Hwoarang players are drawn to me. But also other players as well. So it might be a good opportunity to meet some friendly faces. A lot of people that are still learning and a lot of people that are eager to, you know, help teach you guys and guide you guys. Very friendly community, so if that's something you guys are interested in, consider joining. But with all that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and stop there. I feel like this is a pretty solid video for not having a script or notes or anything like that. So thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I will catch you guys in the next stream or video. Take care of yourselves. Happy gaming and peace.